Hi, this is Duncan from Benu, and today we'll be talking about troubleshooting. So first things first, understanding the system. So here we are with a vMEG that I've got, and we want to do some basic understanding to make sure we understand where we are, what we're doing. So we've logged in via SSH, we're in enable mode, and so the first thing I'm going to do is a show version command. So the show version command is going to tell me a few things here. Obviously it tells me the build that we're running on this particular vMEG. It's also going to tell me the configuration in terms of CPU, network interface, memory and storage. It's also got the uptime on here, and then how it restarted last. So this is a manual reload. And then up here it's got the Benu CGL, so this is the Benu carrier grade Linux version, so the underlying sort of Linux kernel that's on the system as well. Rarely we need to worry about this, but sometimes this changes in comparison with this stuff. Anyway, so we know what version we're running. We've got an idea of what's going on, so let's figure out what's up here. So the show users command is going to tell me there's no one else on the system, it's just me logged in. This is always worth running if you've got a multiple admin that might be connected, just to make sure that you're not going to tread on anyone else's toes. Exclusive mode will mean that someone's taken, for instance, the configuration mode. Only one person should be in that at a time. And then we'll have a quick look at show interface brief, just to make sure that we understand the networking of here. Connectivity. Let's try and understand the connectivity of our vMEG a bit more. So we have show interface brief. This tells us, the interfaces are up, which ports are configured. The more useful information would be show port, the name of the port, and then detail. So this would even tell us the MAC address that's been assigned to that port. Generally, when I'm bringing up virtual machines, this is one of the real challenges, is finding out which physical port has been mapped to which logical port on the system, and that really can help a lot. Show ARP is another really useful one that just tells us the ARP table of the platform, and again lets us check we've got connectivity to our neighbouring devices and everything's happy there. So show IP route is another fantastic command to run at this point. So this is telling us our routing table, and allows us to understand where traffic should be coming in and going through the vMEG. Understanding the traffic. So this allows us to see the tunnels that are connected to the vMEG right now. Here we've got the ID of the tunnel, we've got the IP address, the source IP address the tunnel has been created to, the local address on the vMEG the tunnel is terminated on, the number of subscribers connected to that tunnel, the identified device, in this case it's the MAC address of the AP that created the tunnel. We can get a few more details out of this by doing show WAG tunnels ID 16 detail, and then this gives the details of the tunnels, the policy that it inherited, the redirect URLs that it's doing, the default settings it's got. We can get into more detail on that on one of the subscriber specific debug videos. That leads us on to show WAG subscribers. So show WAG subscribers shows us the subscribers that are connected to that tunnel right now. Again, we have the subscriber's MAC address, we have the IP address that's been given within the tunnel, the IP address that's been given on the outside of the vMEG, so in this case it's a NAT or a CG NAT address, the VLAN it's coming on, and obviously the tunnel that it's associated with, the one that we've just seen. And again we have a similar command here, show WAG subscribers MAC, paste the MAC in, put detail in, and now we get the details here on this particular subscriber. As you can see, it's a GRE tunnel it's coming under. We've got the access point MAC address of the tunnel it came through, the pool of CG NAT addresses that's been assigned, the policy that it's been allowed into, so it's in allow all state right now, and then the uptime of that subscriber on this device. Collecting data for Benu tech support. So if we think there's an issue and we want to collect some data, we have two simple commands that we can run for this, two options. So show tech support is going to print out all this stuff to the screen. This works great if you've got a setup where all of this stuff is buffered and logged, and you can paste that back to us. However, sometimes that can be a real problem. It depends on how you get access to your vMEG really. The alternative is collect tech support. This grabs the same similar information, but then compresses it into a tar gzip file and puts that on the system. So we now have this debug info. Now, what we'd like you to do then is to SSH or SCP onto the platform and then copy that file down for us. There are some Linux commands we can run from the Benu CLI. So if we do an ls, we can see the directory we're in. As I said, we're in the Benu data directory. This is the thing that's resilient between upgrades. So this data here is useful. We have this thing called cores in here. So if we do cd cores and we do an ls, this is where only crash dumps would occur. So if your vMEG had restarted unexpectedly, we would hope there'd be a crash dump file in there. They can get pretty big, so it's worth trying to compress them down a bit before sending them to us, or trying to pull them off the box. But then we have a logs directory as well. Ooh. And in the logs directory, we've got the app launch logs, the event logs, OS change logs, system info, system upgrades. So these can be really, really useful for helping us figure out what's going on. So we might also ask you to get data from those directories. And the debug info that we created is just in this Benu data admin directory, and that's what we'd want you to pull down to give to us.